And we're live. Yes, guys, it is Jahari back again with another video. And today we're going to be talking about how I discovered my ideal customer avatar. So, why do we need to understand who our ideal customer avatar is? Is because we need to understand who we are really building this for. So, table of contents today and what this video is going to entail is what I've learned, what I've built, and how I've broken down my customer avatar, how I feel about it, and generally my personal reflections, the next step, and my invitation to you. So, this worksheet is about really just getting painfully clear on who I'm actually building for. It's not who I want to build for, and it's not who sounds impressive, but it's the person who genuinely needs to hear this. So, the way I actually used to do all my research for this worksheet was a bit of ChatGPT and real feedback inside different Skool communities, especially Max Perzons one, which is free Skool course. Um, so I used all of this to help me really shape a realistic avatar, not just what AI has told me. The truth is, the reason why we need to do customer avatar research is if you try and speak to everybody, you will end up connecting with no one. So when you're doing YouTube and you're putting out content, um, you need to know who you're talking to, right? Because not everybody can relate. And if somebody doesn't relate to your content, they'll just click off your video, right? So the reason why I'm doing this is because I need to understand exactly who I'm speaking to on the other side of this screen. And that way I can actually, it gives myself a better chance of actually helping them out. So what I learned by doing this worksheet. So my big realization number one is, well, my ideal customer avatar is me, right? It's just me a few steps ago. That's it, right? And the more I wrote, the clearer it became, right? Their fears generally feel familiar, right? The way how they get confused with content overload also feels familiar, but their hunger and their drive to want to do better is how I was feeling, right? This isn't a random avatar. This is literally just a version of me before clarity all kicked in. So my second biggest realization was their problem isn't laziness, it's paralysis, right? So I used to consume a lot of content and I would feel very motivated only late at night, after I finished work, after I watched a couple YouTube videos. But then I'd wake up and actually go and do the thing, and I'd feel overwhelmed the next morning, right? So I'd start, stop, restart, and repeat. And I went on this cycle for years, like honestly, on and off for like 5 years, right? So the thing is, they don't lack ambition, they just lack direction. There's a misdirection and a misbelief. And all I'm doing is getting them aligned, redirected, and also helping them believe in themselves. So they're buying safety, they're not just buying strategy. So what they really want is, not to feel stupid, not to be judged from people around them or people online. They don't want to choose the wrong niche, right? They don't want to choose the wrong offer. Um, and they're tired of wasting more time and money, right? So the product that I'm working on isn't just teaching skills, it's giving them a place where they feel safe to move forwards. And real growth starts when you're in a safe enough place to focus, because when you get to that point, it's like you now have that creative spark that you can just let it shine, right? And you can just go forward. You can, you know, but if you're on edge or you don't trust yourself what you're doing or you don't believe in yourself, it's like it's not going to come from a place of authority, and it's going to seem probably very irregular or extremely inauthentic. So yeah, so let's get into it of what I built and how I discovered my avatar. Now, this is general research again, both from Skool community and from ChatGPT, but this specific data here is mostly from ChatGPT. So the ages are roughly my age. It's in between 24 and 30. That's 60% of people. However, 40% will probably be older and have kids. Locations are anybody speaking English language. Um, Education, university. They've gone to uni, or they've dropped out, or they've just, bought a lot of online courses. Jobs, like myself, I was stuck in retails. Sucks. Or people in sales jobs, corporate, restaurants, whatever. Anyway, the main thing is they mostly have jobs where they feel just generally undervalued in, right? They know they can do more, but they aren't treated like they're valuable. And their income is about 20 to 50K a year, right? They feel comfortable enough to survive and uncomfortable enough to feel stuck, right? So, how they think and how they learn. So, in their free time, when they're on their phone or they're on their laptop or their iPad or whatever, this is how they spend most of their free time, is watching YouTube. So, the gurus that I know are Iman Hormozi, Sam Ovens, Max, right? Either this or they'll scroll through Instagram or TikTok. They may be journaling and thinking about how crap their job is, or that they can't pay for this and that, and all the other stresses with life. They'll be researching late at night, trying to find another way out. They'll even think about joining school communities and courses as a last hope, right? But the thing is, they want to act, but information overload keeps freezing them up. This was me, right? This was literally me. So their core worries are: what if I choose the wrong thing? What if I fail publicly? What if I'm good enough? And what if this is my life forever? Now, what you are seeing, guys, is there is a repetition in desires, there's a repetition in fears. And so, this is the tedious thing about this whole thing, if you've been watching the other videos. But what it does is it really does break it down and sort of nail in really the biggest pain points and the biggest desires. So, thought I'd say that. Moving on. So, what they fear of wasting years in a repetitive job, letting their families or their partners down, or their friends down, and they fear being judged online, right? They fear that they're not being smart enough to figure this out, right? Listen, guys, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't have this figured out. I'm literally just following one step at a time using my learn, build, teach formula. And to be honest, it's working because I do feel a lot more confident. Direction wise, who knows? You've got to do the thing. Work the plan the work, work the plan. So, like I said, deep down they don't believe they're built for more, and they just don't trust themselves fully yet. That is really what comes with this. Okay. So, what really matters when selling to them? So they respond best to no hype, no next thing BS. That's a massive red flag, because there's always a new big thing, right? And the best time was yesterday, and the second best time is today, right? Potato is what it is, right? They also respond best to honesty and integrity, something that lacks a lot in the online space, right? Relatability, somebody that actually gets me, right, at the exact stage that I'm at. Somebody who is calm, confident, collected, and not arrogant. Somebody who also knows how to deliver things in, simple but really practical steps where it actually makes them want to take action. They also want to feel emotionally supported, and they want real guidance. Okay. They want to be coached with, not talked at. I highlight that again. They want to be coached with, not talked at. And I mean, this is so relatable for me. I don't know about you guys, but this is super relatable for me, where I wasn't being seen or heard. So, the course or the mastermind just wasn't relevant at that time. So that's a big thing. Um, their past identity, their past and identity. So these are also me, right? Financial stress, emotional instability, being told to be realistic. And as a result of this, they learned to think deeply. They became way more observant, way more adaptable, but still struggle with confidence and self esteem. They often feel like they've been through too much just to end up here. And I completely understand. Family and relationships. So, most of them are single or they're early into relationships. However, they do want to settle down after proving themselves. Want to be stable, right? So they can have a family, right? And they also fear of being judged for trying again, right? Giving their passion a go again, right? So my coaching program will help give them direction, help them see and do progress, replacing a lot of talk, talk at the office, talk at work, and turn that into action. It will also restore their confidence through consistency. And the only way you build momentum is through consistency. That's what I'm realizing a lot, which is why I've stopped and started a lot, just because I never had a consistent process, right, to overshine that. But through doing this, it's changed a lot. Okay. So yeah, why does my coaching product matter to them? Well, it will matter because I'm trying to create something based on clarity, structure, confidence, and accountability. These four things are the pivotal foundations you need to go forward, right? So this now removes where do I even start? When do I even start? All the overthinking, the fear of choosing wrong, right? It will get them to a point where they stop overthinking and start doing. So, what are they thinking right before they end up buying? Oh, I've overconsumed and I'm wasting my potential. I keep starting to only start stopping. I want guidance, but do I trust you? Is this worth paying for? Is this person really that authentic? Are they really that real? Oh, maybe I should try. And then what finally tips them over is when they start feeling understood. They start to see me for who I am as a person and they start to trust me. They also see the clarity and not hype. And then they realize that staying still is actually more risky than starting. Massive. When I understood this, I was just like, what? And then because of that, the perfection paralysis gone. Because I could make something look so clean, so good, so aesthetically pleasing, but the actual system itself, there was nothing operating in it. So it could just never work. And so I just stayed still. So progress over perfection. Now, the golden summary of this is my ideal customer is an ambitious beginner who is mentally overwhelmed, emotionally hungry for clarity, and desperate to start, but they are afraid of choosing wrong, afraid of being judged online, or afraid of failing publicly. They don't want more information, they want direction, belief, and somebody to walk them side by side. So this is perfect for a free school course, for a YouTube documentation like we're doing now. This is great for one-to-one beginner coaching and future paid school communities. So, so how I feel about this, my personal reflection. Now, this worksheet hit pretty deep for me, right? I realized that from going into a couple of school communities and just generally researching the same question, the same points into the chat, um, there was just an overlapping trend in the same kind of avatar. And then also from doing previous worksheets before that, and then on top of that, asking ChatGPT to verify what I've researched, it was also giving me similar answers, right? And also giving me similar answers to the previous sheets as a confirmation of my actual personal research. And I could see that my frustration in myself, right? Looking back at things and how I used to feel. Like, really, guys, I would torment myself and then I just get overwhelmed, period. And so I've realized that, you know, I'm not building for customers, I'm just building for real people like myself who genuinely feel unseen, feel stuck, and, they're just overwhelmed. They just don't know the next steps. And honestly, this now has generally made me far more confident, not less. Like, I can see how far I've personally come. And so, because I've seen how far I've personally come now, even just like being on a camera, I know that this is possible for you guys, right? Because when you know exactly who you're serving, you stop doubting what to say. Let me repeat that again. When you know exactly who you're serving, you stop doubting on what to say. And this avatar becomes my filter for everything. So, when I talk to this person through content, through schools, through any sales calls, right? It won't feel like such a cold interaction, like such a cold encounter. It will feel like I already know them. So now all I need to do is know what to say to them. So that leads me on to my next step, is knowing exactly what to say and how to interact with my perfect ideal avatar through refining my message. So in the next step, I will refine my message. I will then refine how I shape my content. I will refine how I design my offer. And something really important from looking at this worksheet alone is decide what not to teach yet and work out on what I should teach instead. So yeah, that's really, really helps. It's given me a lot of clarity actually. So yeah. Anyway, my invitation to you guys. Now, if you've ever felt like this, if you saw yourself in my customer avatar research, you're not alone, right? I'm building this in public inside my free school community called Kingdom Coaching. And honestly, you can join, you can follow along, and you can just build at your own pace. There's no pressure, there's no hype, there's no judgment. If you generally want a place that actually feels safe to start, then I'll leave my link in below and you can just click on it, and I hope to see you there. So yeah, it's crazy because on a whole, this customer avatar was literally me. So I've never felt so confident in what I need to do at this point, which is amazing. And so all these worksheets have just given me a ton of clarity. So yeah. And also, if you guys like this kind of content, then please follow my channel, get connected, turn on that notification so you don't miss the next one, because I'm building this in sequence. And yeah, you guys can join my free school community. It's called Kingdom Coaching. And all it is I help purpose driven entrepreneurs turn their knowledge and passions into their first paying clients using the Learn, Build, Teach system with Skool and YouTube. So at this very point in time, I'm building a free course, right? This is powered by the Learn, Build, and Teach system, which creates the ultimate foundations for success. And if you guys are stuck with that, you can also opt in for one-to-one coaching with me. But yeah, these kind of videos, I'm going to put them all in here, right? So on Skool, I miss nothing. On YouTube, I won't put every single video out, but I will on Skool. So you're going to see my step-by-step journey in sequence. So you can get all the little nuggets that you won't be able to find on YouTube. So with that being said, guys, Pleasure to have you on board. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. God bless you. Ciao.